Well, two fire trucks and a hazmat team have just driven by the house, going somewhere in the neighborhood. That's always wonderful. I'm not so worried about the fire trucks. I'm far more worried about the hazmat truck. Well, it's been a quiet day today, really. At least for me. I'm out walking the dog, so there's not much light. I'm using the microphone, so as I walk through the neighborhood, I don't sound like I'm talking to myself. Or if I do, people will just think I'm ordinary crazy and not shouting crazy. But I have the dog with me. We had Michelle and James' friends over today. They went to Peter Piper Pizza for lunch, which I did not join them. And then they came over to the house and we let them play a lot of Wii. A lot of Wii. They played a lot of Wii. I did some work, took a nap. That computer I mentioned the other day is knackered. I think it's been rootkitted, and as it takes combo fix out very quickly. It took whatever's on there, took malware bytes out, it took combo fix out, Windows Security Essentials didn't even see it, and so I think I'm going to switch hands here. I have a feeling the dog's about to try to bolt for a cat. The mouse is, well, the trackpad's behaving very strangely. The internet connection comes and goes. Drive activity is constant. Nothing sees anything wrong. Not even when it's obvious the computer's cranking away and there's nothing showing up in Task Manager or Performance Monitor. It's rooted. Or, that said, if it's not rooted, or it is rooted, it may also have hardware problems because some of the things that the trackpad is doing could be indicative of hardware failure. And the same is true of the wireless network on it. I had it working for a while at my house. Now it's gone. Absolutely no sign of it working whatsoever. So I got everything off of it, and I had a spare laptop sitting around the house that I can loan for a while so I can get them back up and operational. And then we'll see where we go from there. I've never seen one so buggered up. It's a 2008 vintage Toshiba, so it's the beautiful Windows Vista. It really isn't have processor specs to do a newer operating system. So I think it's just time to say goodbye. Now, this is the laptop that this customer, before I started working for him, he had taken his old laptop to Best Buy, and the joyful lads at the Geek Squad, and they looked at it, kept it overnight, and then called him the next day and said it was buggered and that he'd have to buy a new one. It wasn't worth fixing. So he did what they told him. He bought a new laptop. He brought the old one at home. And then he had some problem with his printer, and he called me, and I came over and helped him get the printer going. And he asked me a couple other things, and I helped him out with them. And then he handed me the old computer, in addition to paying me, and said, well, can you do something with this, if you can make it work, or keep it for parts, or... And I didn't really give it any thought. But I took it because, well, what does he do with it? Turns out, all it had was a loose memory chip. Well, a DIMM. I still call them chips, but that's all it was, is the DIMMs had come loose. And they didn't even bother to check that. They just said, oh, buy a new one. Gosh, there's no conflict of interest there, is there? So, I am a little reticent. And I told him about it, and I said, you can have this computer back, because you could sell it. And he wouldn't take it, so I sold it for, $300-400. It wasn't a bad laptop at the time. So I admit, I don't like to be in the position where I tell him, nope, it's not worth fixing. Because I know he's heard that before. But really, I could fix this computer, but it's another... I'd have to nuke it completely and then reinstall it from his Vista install, and 900 patches later, get it back to where it was. That takes time. Time's money. He does pay me for my time. So, I'll just have to say it's time to buy a new one. 7 years. It's time to buy a new one. Now the question is, do I have him get a Mac? In which case, I'll never have another call from him. And I'll be out of customer, because he won't have any more problems. Haven't had any stomach problems today. That's good. I'm quite pleased about that. So hopefully we're done. And so now that we're coming up on a patch of light here, so you can see my face, I think it's time for me and Taz here to say, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Good night.